get one, yeah, exactly.
No, I agree with him on one. I don't know.
Too informal.
That's what I'm saying.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, how's everyone doing? Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Tiger Copperstone. I am the director for this production of 12 Gaming Jurors. I'm also the founder and creative director of the Home Creative Company. And we're so glad to have you here tonight with us for our final performance. Our cast has worked so hard to be able to put on this production for you, and I know for probably a lot of you in here, you may not have had an opportunity to see yourself involved in a theater capacity like this. I know it's a little unique to be here in a classroom and to be seated so closely to where the actors will be performing, but with that said, I hope that gives you an opportunity to engage with the cast in a really unique way in which you may not have ever had the opportunity to do so before. And so there will be moments where you might feel uncomfortable, or you might feel mad, or you might feel discouraged. And I would ask you to take all those feelings and to feel them, and to understand what it looks like for humans to interact with one another and to fight. And it's just like drama on the TV, but it's in person, which is, I think, a lot of fun. And so before we start our production, I just want to give you guys just a couple quick notes. There's no intermission, and so it's an hour and 15-minute long show, so hopefully you should be able to get through that entire time. But if you do need to go and leave to use the restroom, it's just on your way to the right when you came in, and so just down the hall to the right there. Make sure that any sound that we hear tonight is coming just from our actors, so make sure to take your phone and put them on silent if you haven't already. But that's it. So without further ado, please enjoy the home creative production of 12 Gaming Jurors.
No, thank you, but no. Ugh, you know something?
I know lots of things in advertising.
God, it's hot.
You know, I wouldn't have known that if you hadn't told me. Would you?
I suppose not. I'd already forgotten.
Done all day, sweat.
I bet you ain't sweating like that kid was trying.
I can't believe the air conditioner is down. I almost dropped dead in court.
Yeah. No thanks, my taxes are high enough.
I should go fast anyway.
Oh, yeah, it's hot.
Yes, they did.
What do they think we are, crooks?
They locked us up for a little while.
And then they can lock that kid up forever, and that's okay by me.
I never knew they did that.
Sure, they locked the door. What do you think?
I don't know, it never occurred to me.
Can we just admit that it's hot and humid and our tempers are short?
It's been a pretty hard week.
I feel just fine.
You know, I wonder what's been going on down at the office. Do you know what it's like in advertising? In 6 days, my job could be gone, and the whole company too. They aren't gonna like this.
Well, I figure it's our duty.
I didn't object to doing my duty. I just mentioned I might not have a job by the time I get back.
Why don't you ask him? He's rich, look at that suit.
Is that custom tailor?
Yes, it is.
My uncle's a tailor.
How does he do?
Not too well. You know, a friend of my uncle's, the tailor, he wanted to be on this jury in my place.
That's what happened.
Well, he was on the jury once about 10 years ago with a case just like this, and they let him off. Reasonable doubt, and would you believe it, about 8 years later they found out he'd actually done it. A guilty man, a murderer, was turned loose in the streets.
Did we get him?
They couldn't.
Why not?
They can't be on double jeopardy. Well, unless it's a hung jury and they can't be tried twice for the same crime.
Yeah, that isn't gonna happen here.
6 days. It should have been done in 2. Talk. I hear so much talk about them.
Look, they're entitled.
Yeah, everybody gets a fair trial. That's the system. Well, coach can't say anything against it.
Hey, how'd you like that business about the knife? Did you ever hear a funnier story?
expected. You know who you're dealing with here.
He literally bought a knife that night.
And then he lost it.
A hole in his pocket?
Hole in his father.
A knife through the chest. Horrible way to kill a dad.
You can't expect anything less from them. Come on.
What's the matter? You got a cold?
These hot weather colds will kill you.
Well, I had one last year. On vacation too.
All right, everyone, Molly, I'll start taking your seats.
This better go fast. I've got tickets to Hamilton for tonight, and I swear I'm the only one in the world who hasn't seen it yet. Okay, Your Honor, start the show.
How about sitting down? Lady at the window, take your seat. I'm sorry.
Look, stuff to figure, isn't it? The kid stabs his father just like that. Maybe it's the element. They just let the kids run wild. Maybe it serves them right.
Never proves some emotion you might have. Perhaps a dislike for some group.
We did say that it was hot, and that our tempers will grow short.
Well, that's if we disagree, but this is open and shut. Let's get it done.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we can handle this any way we want to. I mean, I'm not gonna make up any rules or anything. If we want to discuss it first and then vote, that's one way. Or we can vote now and see where we stand.
Vote now. You know, we can just go home.
Let's see who's where.
Yeah, right, let's go now.
Does anyone not want to vote?
That was easy.
All right, all those in guilty, raise your hand. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 guilty, okay. Not guilty?
Hey, you're in my field.
11 to 1. 11 guilty, 1 not guilty. Now we know where we stand.
You really think these kids not guilty?
I don't know.
After 6 days, she doesn't know.
In 6 days, I can learn calculus. This is ABC.
I don't believe it's as simple as ABC.
I never saw a guilty man in my life.
Well, what does a guilty man look like? He's not guilty until we say he's guilty. Are we to vote in his face?
You sat in court and heard the same things I heard. The man's a dangerous killer, you can see it.
Where do you look to see if a man's a killer? No,
Eh,
I'd like to know. Tell me what the facial characteristics of a killer are. Maybe you know something I don't know.
Look, what about this case makes you think the boy could be innocent?
He's 19 years old.
it's old enough. He knifed his own father 4 inches in the chest. It's a little 19-year-old kid.
I mean, I agree that the kid's guilty, but let's try to avoid emotional arguments.
All right. They proved it. A dozen different ways. You want me to list them?
No.
Well, do you believe the stupid story that he told?
No.
No. Do you believe his story?
I don't know if I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So what you want not guilty for?
There were 11 votes for guilty. It's not so easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off to die.
Well, who says it's easy for me?
Or me.
No one. He's just as guilty whether it's an easy vote or a hard vote.
I don't get it. Is there something wrong because I voted fast?
Not necessarily.
Look, we can talk about this for 100 years, but you're never gonna change my mind.
I don't want to change your mind.
Just what I'm thinking of.
I want to talk for a while. Look, this kid has been kicked around all his life, you know. Growing up in a slum, his mom dead since he was 9. It's not a very good head start. He's a tough, angry kid. And you know why some kids get that way? Because we knock them over the head once a day, every day. I think maybe we owe him a few words, that's all.
All right, it's hard. Sure. It's hard for me. Everything I've got, I fought for. I worked my way through college. I fought, but never killed.
Yeah, I know what it's like. I never killed nobody.
Yeah, I've been kicked around too. Wait until you work in an ad agency and the big boy that buys the advertising walks in. We all know.
Kicking, in my country, kicking was a science, but let's try to find something better than that.
Look, I don't mind to tell you this. We don't owe the kid a damn thing. He got a fair trial, right? And we all know what that trial cost. He's lucky to have even gotten it. And we are all grown-ups here. You cannot tell us whether or not to believe in him knowing what he is. You cannot trust these people, and you know that.
I don't know that.
What a terrible thing for a person to believe. Since when is dishonesty a group characteristic? No. You have no monopoly on the truth.
All right. We don't need another sermon. It's not Sunday.
What this man is saying is very dangerous.
I don't see any need for arguing like this. I think we ought to be able to discuss it like civilized people.
Right.
I agree, we have a job to do, let's do it.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm gonna close down the window and it's blowing on my neck.
If you don't mind, I'd like to keep the window open.
But it's blowing on my neck.
Yeah, honey, it's like, it's summer, and it's hot. He window open.
I was very uncomfortable.
There are 12 of us in this room. Leave it open.
You know, I have some rights too.
So do the rest of us.
Couldn't you just trade chairs with someone at the other end of the table?
All right. Keep the window open if someone would take my chair. Thank you.
Shall we get back to the case?
Yeah, let's.
Okay, I have an idea now, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but it seems to me that it's up to us to convince this lady that we are right and she is wrong. So maybe if we just each talk for a minute or two, you know? Try it on for size.
That seems fair enough.
Very fair.
Yeah, let's go.
Supposing we go once around the table? All right, we'll start with you.
I believe he's guilty. I thought it was pretty obvious.
In what way was it obvious?
I mean, they didn't prove otherwise.
They don't have to prove otherwise. It's innocent until proven guilty. The defendant doesn't have to open his mouth. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. That's in the Fifth Amendment, the Constitution. You've heard of it.
Everyone has.
I mean, I know what it is, but what I meant to say is, I think he's guilty.
No reasons. Just guilty. There's a life at stake here.
All right. Let's get to the facts. Number one, let's take the old man who lived in a second floor apartment directly below the room where the murder took place. 12 minutes after 10 minutes after 12, he said he heard loud noises in the apartment upstairs, right? Said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the kid yell, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, he hears the father's body fall. Then he runs out to the front door, looks out, sees the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. Calls the police. They come, they find the father with a knife in his chest.
And
What else do you need?
the coroner did fix the time of death at around midnight.
Now, if that's not enough for you,
It just doesn't seem to fit.
The boy's entire story is flimsy. I mean, he claims he was at the movies. It's a little ridiculous, don't you think? He couldn't even remember what he saw.
He didn't have a ticket stub. And who keeps a ticket stub at the movies?
That's true enough.
The cashier didn't remember it.
the ticket taker didn't either.
Okay, look, what about the woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, then nothing does.
That's right, she saw the killing.
Okay,
didn't she?
let's
You
go
know,
in
just
order.
a minute. Here's a woman who can't sleep. She gets up, it's hot, you know, and she goes to the window and sees the kid stick a knife into his father.
Well, how could she really be sure it was the kid when she saw through the windows of a passing elevated train?
She's known the kid all his life. Their window was right opposite of theirs. She testified to it.
I heard her swear to it.
Okay, and they proved it in court that you could look through the window of a passing L train at night and see what's happening on the other side. They proved it.
Weren't you telling us just a minute or two ago that you can't trust them? That you can't believe them?
So,
Well, let me ask you something. How come you believed her then? She's one of them too, isn't she?
I think you're pretty damn
Okay,
smart.
now take
Hey,
it easy.
calm down. Come on, sit down. What are you letting get you so upset for? Relax, sit down.
They took us to the woman's room and we looked through the windows of the passing L, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Weren't you able to see what happened on the other side?
I didn't see as well as they told me I would see, but I did see what happened on the other side.
You see, don't you all see now?
Let's calm down now. It's your turn.
I'll pass it.
That is your privilege. How about you?
I don't know. I started to be convinced, you know, with the testimony from the people across the hall. Didn't they say something about an argument between the father and the boy around 7 o'clock that night? I mean, I could be wrong.
I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
It's right 8 o'clock.
They heard the father hit the boy twice and then they saw the boy walk angry out of the house.
Right.
What does that prove?
Well, it doesn't exactly prove anything. It's just a part of the picture. I didn't say it proved anything.
Anything else?
No,
Look, it's all been said. We're wasting our time.
I don't think so.
Neither do I. Go on.
Well, look at the kid's record. He stole a car. He's been arrested for mugging. Pretty sure they said he stabbed someone.
They did.
That is a very fine boy. At 15, he was sent to reform school.
And he was sent to reform school for stabbing somebody.
A very fine boy you're defending.
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him regularly. He used his fists.
So would I on a boy like that.
You're right. It's the kids. way they are, you know, they don't listen. I got a kid. He was 8 years old, ran away from a fight. I saw him, I was so ashamed. I told him right then, I'm gonna make a man out of you, I'm gonna bust you up in little pieces trying. When he was 15, he hit me in the face. He's big, you know? Haven't seen him in 15 years. Rocky kid, I hate tough kids. You work your heart out and they tear it up. All right, let's get it done.
All right, we're missing the point here. Let's say this boy is the product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home, and we can't help that. I'm not here to go into the reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. I know it. So do you. Children come out of these backgrounds are potential threats to society.
You said it right there, and I don't want any part of that, believe me.
I've lived in the slums my whole life.
Okay, now just wait a second.
I used to play in a backyard filled with garbage. Maybe it still smells. Okay, let's be reasonable here. There's nothing personal about that. There is something personal.
Oh, come on. He didn't mean you. Stop being so sensitive.
Who did he mean? I can't understand this sensitivity. Okay, now let's stop the bickering.
We're wasting time.
It's your turn.
All right. I had a peculiar feeling about this trial. Somehow I felt like the defense counsel never really performed a thorough cross-examination. So many questions were unasked.
All right, I think the boy is guilty, but I think defense counsel was bad.
So?
This is a point.
What about facts?
So many questions were never answered.
What about the questions that were answered? For instance, let's talk about this cute little switchblade knife. You know, the one this fine untrained kid admitted buying.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get it in here and look at it again. I'd like to see it for me.
We all know what it looks like. I don't see why we have to look at it again.
She has the right to see exhibits and evidence.
Alright.
All right, so this knife is a pretty strong piece of evidence. Would you agree?
I do.
All right, now let's get the sequence of events right as they relate to the switch knife.
The boy admitted to going out of his house at 8 o'clock after being slapped by his father.
Or punched.
Or punched. The boy went to a neighborhood store where he bought a switchblade knife. The following day, the storekeeper was arrested when he admitted selling it to him.
We all agree. It's a pretty unusual knife.
Storekeeper.
Pretty hard to forget something like that.
The storekeeper identified it in court and said it was the only one of its kind he had in stock. Why did he get it?
As a present for a friend of his.
Am I right so far?
You bet he's right. Now I want you to listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about.
Next, the boy claims that on his way home, the knife must have just fallen through a hole in his coat pocket, that he never saw it again. Now there's the story. You know what actually happened. The boy took the knife home, waited a few hours, and then used it to stab his father. Even waited he wipe away all of the fingerprints. Everyone connected with this case has identified this knife. Are you trying to tell me that someone else must have just picked it up off of the street, went to the boy's home, and stabbed his father with it to just be amusing?
No, I'm saying it's possible that he lost the knife and that someone else stabbed the father with a similar knife. It's possible.
It's a very unusual knife. I've never seen one like it before in my entire life. Either the storekeeper who sold it to him. I mean, you're asking us to accept a pretty incredible coincidence.
I'm not trying to get you to accept anything. I'm just saying it's possible.
I'm saying it's not possible.
What the hell?
Hey!
What are you doing?
Get back in here.
What are you trying to do?
Quiet! Let's be quiet!
Where did you get it?
In a little junk shop around the corner from the boy's house. It cost $2.
Now you listen to me.
I'm listening.
You pulled a pretty smart trick here, but you proved absolutely zero. Maybe there's 10 knives like that. So what?
Maybe there are.
The boy lied, and you know it.
Maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did lose the knife, and maybe he did go to the movies. Maybe the cashier didn't remember seeing him because he snuck into the movies, and maybe he was too ashamed to say so. Is there anyone here who didn't sneak into the movies once or twice when they were young? I did.
Really? Not even once.
Maybe he went to the movies, and maybe he didn't. And he may have even lied. Do you think he lied?
That's just a stupid question. Sure, he lied.
Do you?
You don't have to ask me that. You already know my answer. He lied.
Do you think he lied? I don't know.
Okay, wait a minute. What are you, the kid's lawyer? Listen, there are still 11 of us who think he's guilty. You're alone. If you want to be stubborn and hang this story, that's fine. He'll be
probably right.
Okay, so what are you gonna do about it? You can be here all night.
Oh, it's only one night, and a child may die.
God, that's not what I meant.
Well, yes, that's true. Okay, we have to get on with it now.
Yeah, let's get on with it.
Okay, so obviously, you don't think the boy is guilty,
I have a doubt in my mind.
but you haven't really presented us with anything to understand your doubt. I mean, the old man, he heard it, he heard the kid shriek it out.
The woman across the alley, she saw it.
It just doesn't seem to fit.
That's not enough.
It's not enough for me.
What is enough for you? I'd like to know.
How do you like her? It's like talking to a freaking brick wall.
I mean, the woman saw it through the elevated train. An elevated train has 5 cars, and she said to have seen it through the car. Windows of the last 2. She remembers the most insignificant details.
That's a fact. Let me find this out. No. Well, what do you gotta say about that?
It just doesn't seem to fit.
Well, why don't you? No.
I mean, earlier that night, he did have a fight with his father.
I mean, the boy's been a violent kid all the way. Well, it doesn't necessarily prove anything.
I have a proposition to make. I want to call for a vote. I want you 11 men and women to vote by secret ballot. I'll abstain. If there are still 11 votes for guilty, we'll take in a guilty verdict right now. I won't stand alone. All right? Another vote's been called for. Ladies and gentlemen, you all have a notepad in front of you. I want you to write down your verdict. We're going to do a secret ballot. Once you're done, tear it out, fold it up, and Dad will come pick it up. Guilty. 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 Guilty.
6.
Please. 6 guilty. 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 Not guilty. And guilty.
How do you like this?
Who was it? We have a right to know.
All right, who did it? What idiot chased her?
Is that any way to talk about a man's life?
What are you talking about? Life of the dead man or the life of the murderer?
I wanna know who.
Yeah, so do I.
Excuse me, this was a secret ballot.
Nobody looked while we were doing this. Now I want to know.
A secret ballot, we agree on that point, and if the person wants it to remain a
What did you mean? There's no secrets in here. I know who did it. What's the matter with you? You come in here and you feel guilty, and then this slick little preacher tears your heart out with stories about a poor little kid just couldn't help becoming a murderer, and you change your vote. That's the most
Okay, so not
sickening thing I ever
point
heard
it.
of. Now I want to know what.
I agree with you, the kid's guilty, but be fair.
Be fair? Hold on! That's what I'm talking about. Look, we're trying to put a guilty man into the chair where he belongs, and we're paying attention to fairy tales.
Wait a minute.
Now you listen to me.
Okay,
I
let's
want to
try
know
to
just
keep this organized.
This isn't organized, but let's try to keep it civilized.
Grace, I would like to say something. I've always thought that a man was entitled to have an unpopular opinion in this country. That's the reason why I came. I wanted to have the right to disagree.
Do you disagree with us?
Usually I would, but in this one case, I don't.
I do agree with you. But the point that I wish to make is that in my own country, I am ashamed
Now,
to
what
say,
are
but
we gonna
it's
do,
not.
talk about the whole history of country?
It's always wise to bear in mind what's happened in other countries, particularly when people aren't allowed to disagree, but we are, so let's stick to the subject.
Yeah, stick to the subject. Why did you change your vote?
Yeah, I want to know too, you haven't told us yet.
Why do you think I changed my vote?
Because we do. Now answer the question.
There's nothing for her to tell you. She didn't change her vote. I did.
I was gonna tell you, but you were so assured of yourself.
Sorry, now you tell, I'm gonna
No,
tell
maybe
you
they
why
didn't know
this
I
kid.
know.
Let the woman talk!
Maybe they would like to know why. Thank you. This woman right here, she chose to stand all alone against us. That is her right. She left the verdict up to us. She gambled for our support, and I gave it to her. I want to hear more. The vote is 10-2.
Wonderful, if your great speech is now over, let's just get on with it, please, and let, we just...
While we all take a thought, take some time to cool down.
If there was anything in the kid's favor, I vote not guilty.
I don't see what it could be.
Neither do I, they're clutching at straws.
As guilt as they get. But that's the kid, I suppose.
I mean, it's that one juror that's holding out, but she'll come around. She's got to. She's a very reasonable woman.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, they haven't come up with one single fact yet to back up a not guilty verdict.
It's kind of hard, you know.
I mean, what does guilty beyond a reasonable doubt even mean?
Yeah. What is a reasonable doubt?
Exactly. When a life is at stake, what is a reasonable doubt? I mean, you've got to have law and order. You've got to draw the line somewhere. If you didn't, everyone would just go around knifing people.
Not much doubt here, man.
Two people think so. I wonder why. I really wonder why.
Yeah. But I mean, just think about it. There's those men that are sent to prison or worse, to death, and then evidence comes out and it just proves that they're innocent the whole time.
And on the other hand, some killers get turned loose and they go and do it again. I mean, they squeeze out on some technicality and they go and kill again.
Hey, look, I don't kind of cool off. I got a little excited, man, you know? You know how it is. I didn't mean to get nasty. It's not personal.
Hey, answer me this. If the kid didn't kill him, then who did?
As far as I'm concerned, we're only supposed to decide the guilt or innocence of the boy on trial. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives here.
I mean, I guess, but who else had a motive?
The father was along in years, maybe an old grudge.
Remember, it's guilty beyond reasonable doubt. This is a very important thing to remember.
You were just a lawyer. Suppose you tell us just what your reasonable doubts are.
Well, it's not easy for me, but so far, it's only a feeling I have, a feeling. Perhaps you wouldn't understand.
No, I don't.
A feeling? We're gonna talk about the whole night about your feelings? What about the facts now? Come on.
Huh? What about it? You don't want to hold up the show?
It just doesn't sound right.
Suppose you could think about it. Well, listen. Hey, listen, hey, man.
This
Hey,
isn't a game.
who do you think you are? Wait a minute.
This is a man's life.
Who do you think you are?
Okay, calm down.
Did you see that?
Calm
Did you?
down.
I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. This is the game. Who do you think you are?
Were we talking about elevated trains?
Yes, we were.
So,
All right. How long does it take an elevated train going at top speed to pass a human limit?
what has that got to do with anything?
How long would it take? Guess.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
I don't think they mentioned it.
What do you think? Maybe 10 or 12 seconds? Okay, I'd say that was a fair guess. Anyone else?
I would think about 10 seconds, perhaps.
10 seconds. Yes.
All right, we're agreed. 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
This. An elevated train passes a given point in 10 seconds. That given point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. You could almost reach your hand out of the window and touch the L, isn't that right?
Right.
Yeah, I tried it when I was younger.
So,
Well, let me ask you something else. Who here has ever lived next to the L tracks? I live close to them. They make a lot of noise, don't they? I've lived right next to the L tracks. When your window is open and the train is going by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think, just get to the point.
The old man downstairs heard the boy say,
He didn't say it. Scream.
he heard the boy scream, I'm going to kill you. And a second later, he heard the body fall. 1 second, that's the testimony, right?
Right.
And the woman across the street looked out through the windows of the last 2 cars of the elevated train and saw the body fall, right?
Right, so?
The last 2 cars. The last 2 cars.
Okay, what are you giving us here?
An elevated train passes a given point in 10 seconds or 2 seconds per car. The train would have had to been going past the old man's window for at least 6 seconds, maybe more, before the body fell, according to the woman. The old man would have had to hear the boy say, I'm going to kill you, with the front valve moving past his nose. There's no way he could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure he could have heard it.
With an L train going by?
It's enough for me.
It's enough for me too.
No, I don't think he could have heard it.
An L train makes a lot of noise.
Perhaps the old man didn't hear the boy. With all the sound coming from the train.
What are you people talking about? You calling the old man a liar?
It just doesn't seem to fit.
Why would he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention.
Oh, you
Or maybe, I don't know.
You got these ridiculous theories. Why don't you put them on YouTube?
What does that have to do with the man's life? Why might the old man have lied? He can right to be heard.
Thank you. Well, it's just that I looked at him for a very long time. The seam on his jacket, it was split right under his arm. Did you guys notice that? I did. He was a very old man with a torn jacket and he carried 2 canes. Oh. I think I know him better than anyone else here. This is a quiet, frightened, insignificant man who has been nothing his entire life. He has had no recognition, no names in the newspaper. Nobody knows him after 75 years. This is a very, very sad thing. A man like this, he needs to be recognized, to be listened to be questioned, to be quoted just once. This is very important.
And you're trying to tell us that he lied about a thing like that just so he could be important?
No, he wouldn't really lie. He'd make himself believe that he heard those words and that he saw the boy's face. He recognized it.
That is the most fantastic story I've ever heard. How can you make up things like that?
I'm not making it up.
Well, you must be making it up. People don't lie about things like that.
He wouldn't lie. He'd make himself believe he was telling the truth.
And what do you know about it?
I speak from experience. I am that same person.
I think we all understand now.
Hey,
Thank you.
if you want to admit you're a liar, that's okay with me.
And that is too much.
She's a liar. She just told us so.
She did not say she was a liar, she was explaining.
Can you just admit you're a liar?
Please, she was explaining the circumstances so that we might better understand why the old man might have lied. There's a difference.
Ah, liar's a liar. It's all there is to it.
Please, have some compassion. Okay, please, we have our job and duty here.
I think Dave covered it.
I hope we have. All right. Is there anything else?
Would you like a cough drop?
No. Thank you.
Would anyone like a cough drop?
I'll take one.
Cool.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to point something else out here. I think we proved that the old man could not have heard the boy say, I'm going to kill you.
Well, I disagree.
But supposing he did hear the boy say, I'm going to kill you. This phrase. How many times has each of us used it? Probably hundreds. If you do that once more, Junior, I'm going to murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him. Say it every day. That doesn't mean that we're actually going to kill somebody.
Okay, don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
The old man was murdered.
And the exact didn't he say he yelled it out, screamed it, and the cop was one.
That's the way I understand it.
Don't try to tell me you didn't mean it. Somebody says something like that, the way he said it, They mean it.
Oh, and how they mean it too.
Let me ask you something else. Do you really think that the boy would scream out a thing like that for the whole neighborhood to hear? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that.
Right. He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English.
The boy is clever enough.
I want to change my vote to not guilty. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Okay, the vote is 9-3 in favor of guilty.
I'd like to know why you changed your vote.
I think there's a reasonable doubt.
Where? Where is the doubt?
There's the knife.
Ah, she sold you on some sort of fairy tale here.
Go on, give us the reasons.
The old man too. Maybe he didn't lie, but just maybe he did. Maybe he just didn't like the kid.
Well, that isn't the end.
I don't know. I think there's a reasonable doubt.
Based on what? Stories she's telling you? She had to write for Nancy Drew, she'd make a fortune. Listen, the kid had a lawyer. Why didn't they bring up these points?
Lawyers can't think of everything.
Stop making stories up on thin air. What are you gonna tell us now? That the old man didn't see the kid? That he didn't get up out of bed, run to the door, and see the kid, beat it downstairs in 15 seconds?
That's the testimony, I believe.
Oh yeah, no, but the old man swore to this. Swore to this, you guys. Only so he could be important?
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walked, he got there. What difference does it make?
I don't remember, but I don't think he could have run.
He said he went, I remember it now, he said he went from his bedroom to the front door. I mean, that's enough, isn't it?
Where was his bedroom again?
Down the hall somewhere.
Down the hall? Are we to send a man off to die because the bedroom was down the hall somewhere?
Oh, I thought you remembered everything. Don't you remember that?
No, I don't.
I don't remember either.
I'm not surprised.
Foreman, I'd like to see a diagram of the apartment, please.
Why do we have to just run the whole trial over for you again? Then you'll get every detail right.
Please. It was down the hall somewhere. Do you know? Do you know exactly where it was? Please, there's a life at stake.
I know. but
Foreman, I heard you.
How come you're the only one in the room wants to see exhibits all the time?
I want to see this one too.
So do I, by the way.
Maybe we're gonna start waiting for all this nonsense where the body was found again?
No, we're going to see how an old man who's had 2 strokes in the past 3 years and who walks with a pair of canes will be able to get to the front door in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
He said 15.
Yeah, he said 15. He was very positive about it.
How can you be sure about it, correct? There's no 15 seconds is. You can't judge a thing like that.
Like I said, he was very positive about it.
He's an old man. You saw that. He was confused half the time. How can he be positive about it? But you know.
No, I don't know. Maybe you know.
You need this? I have it ready.
Yes, thank you.
God, we've been this is over.
We looked at that diagram for 2 hours. Enough is enough.
Some of us are interested. Go on.
All right. This is a diagram of the apartment in which the killing took place. The old man's apartment was directly beneath it and exactly the same. Here are where the outlets would be. This is the bedroom, kitchen, living room, bathroom, and this is the hall. This is the front door of the apartment, and these are where the steps would be. The old man was asleep in bed in this bedroom. He says he got up, went out into the hallway, down the hall to the front door, and opened it all in 15 seconds. Do you think this is possible?
That's the story.
That's what happened.
He would have been in a hurry. He did hear the scream.
And it happened 15 seconds after you heard the body fall. Correct. Now, his bed was next to the window over here. It's 12 feet from his bed to the bedroom door. The length of the hallway is 43 feet 6 inches. He would have had to get up, get his canes, walk 12 feet, open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet, open the front door, and just in time to see the boy racing down the steps, all in 15 seconds. Do you think this is possible?
You know it's possible.
I don't see why not.
And then he can only walk very slowly. They have to help him into the witness chair.
You act like it's a long walk. It's not.
For an old man who carries 2 canes, it's a long walk.
What are you trying to do?
I want to try this thing. I want to see how long it would have taken him. I just paced off 12 feet, the length of the bedroom.
You can't recreate a thing like that.
Perhaps so we could see it. This is an important point.
It's an absolute waste of time.
Let her do it.
I can't see any harm in it. Foolish, but go ahead.
Do you mind if I use your chair? Thank you. All right, this is the front door to the apartment. How far would you say it is from here to the door of this room?
I'd say it was 20 feet.
All right, 20 feet is close enough. From here around the table and back, I would say is about 40 feet. That's even shorter than the length of the hall that the old man had to move here, wouldn't you say?
A few feet, maybe, yes.
This is insane. What makes you think you could do this?
Okay, we can't stop her.
Do you mind if I try it? According to you, it'll only take 15 seconds. I think we can spare that. Who's got a watch with a second hand?
I do. I have it.
When you want me to start, stomp your foot. That'll be the body falling. And I think it's fair to say that you keep his canes right at his bedside, right?
Yes.
I'm just waiting for the hand to get to 60.
Oh my, speed it up. He walked twice as fast as that.
This is like thinking of it more quickly than the old man walking up the road.
No, it isn't.
If you think I should go faster, I will.
Speed it up a little.
Stop.
31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39, 39 seconds exactly.
It can't be.
39 seconds.
Now that's interesting.
Well, what do you think of that?
39 seconds. 39.
And the old man swore under oath that it was only for the king.
I mean, she may have been a little bit off than the old man walked, but 24-second off?
Hard be it for me to call the old man a liar or to allow such a difference, but still, there's
Quite a discrepancy.
It's my guess that the old man was trying to get to the front door, heard someone racing down the steps, and assumed that it was the boy. I think that's possible.
Assume? What's the matter with you people? Assume? Look. You know, I've seen all kinds of dishonesty in my day. This boy, it takes the cake.
What dishonesty?
Tell me. You come in here with your heart bleeding all over the floor about slum kids and injustice. You make up wild stories, you got a bunch of soft-hearted old ladies listening. I'm not. I'm getting real sick of you. What's the matter with you people? This kid's guilty. He's got a burn for letting it slip through our fingers.
Our fingers? Are you an executioner?
Oh, I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
And this kid, you better have to pull the switch.
I'm sorry for you.
Don't start with me.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up.
You're a sadist.
Shut up.
You want to see this boy die because you personally wanted it. These are the facts. You're a beast. You disgust me.
Shut up! I'm killing him!
Hey,
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
I don't see how we have to behave like children here.
Nor do I. We have a responsibility. That's what's remarkable about democracy, that we're, what's the word? Notified. We're notifying the mail to come down to this place and decide on the innocence and guilt of a man we've never known before. We have nothing to gain or lose by a verdict. That's the reason why we're strong. And we should not make it a personal thing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What were you thinking?
We seem to forget. It's good to be reminded.
Glad we're gonna be civilized about this.
well, we're still nowhere.
No, we're somewhere. We're getting there, maybe.
Maybe.
Who's got an idea?
I think maybe we should try another vote. Ms. Foreman? All right, another vote's been called for.
I want to know what about it. Let's call our votes out. I want to know who stands where.
Let's vote.
All right,
Let's vote.
that seems fair enough. We're gonna have an open ballot. I'll call you by your jury numbers.
Call the votes out.
I vote guilty. 2,
Not guilty.
3,
Guilty.
4,
Guilty.
5, not guilty. 6, not guilty. 7, guilty. 8, not guilty. 9,
Not guilty.
10,
Guilty.
11, not guilty. 12,
Guilty.
That's 6 to 6.
Crime is being committed right in this room, I'm telling you.
I'm ready to walk in that car right now. Declare a hung jury. There's no point.
I'd like to know why you changed your mind and why you changed your mind and why you changed yours. I mean, there's 6 jurors here who think you may be about to turn a murder loose, and emotion won't do. Why?
It seems like the old man didn't see the boy run downstairs. I don't think it's likely the old man heard someone scream, "I'm going to kill you." Old men dream. And even if the boy did scream that he was going to kill, then we have the authority of this man to prove that it might not actually mean he's going to kill.
Look, we're not gonna get anywhere. Let's take it to the judge. But they can't take his chances on 12 other jurors.
6 to 6. I don't think we'll ever agree on anything.
Gotta be, man. We're never gonna convince her.
At first I was alone. Now 5 others agree. There is a doubt.
You're never gonna convince me that there's a doubt. Because I know there isn't no doubt.
I'll tell you what, maybe we're a hung jury. Happens sometimes.
We're not going to be a hung jury.
But we are right now. It's a perfect balance.
If there's a reasonable doubt, I don't see it.
The doubt is there, in my mind.
Maybe we should vote again.
What do you mean vote?
Vote on what?
Are we or aren't we a hung jury?
You mean we vote yes, we are a hung jury, or no, we're not a hung jury?
That's just what I was thinking of.
We can't even agree whether or not the window should be open.
How about majority takes it? Majority wins.
Alright, so if 7 or more of us vote and say yes, that we are a hung jury, we take it to the judge and say we're a hung jury.
And if 7 or more vote no, that means we're not a hung jury and we go on discussing it.
It just doesn't seem quite right to me.
That's the only solution.
I agree. It's the only way.
Anything to end this.
Are we agreed then? 7 or more vote yes, and we go into the judge right now. Alright? I say yes. We're a hung jury. 2,
No.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
No.
6,
No.
7,
Yes.
8,
No.
9,
No.
10,
Yes.
11,
No.
12.
Yes.
It's 6 to 6.
Oh my gosh, we can't even get a majority to decide whether or not we're a hung jury.
Alright, I went along with the majority vote on this question and I didn't agree with voting that way, not really, and I still don't. So I'm changing my vote. I'm saying that no, we're not a hung jury. I still believe the boy is guilty, but there's some things I'd like to know from the jurors that change their minds.
Then we're not a hung jury, so we go on discussing it.
Good. We go on.
Why did you change your vote?
Well, that woman over there, she's made some valid points. And this guy right here, he just gets angry and insults people.
Okay, but he was angry and insulted, change the vote of the kid. He did do it. I mean, are you gonna turn a murderer loose because one of the other jurors gets angry at you when he thinks you're about to turn a murderer loose?
You make a valid point.
There is a doubt.
I don't think so. The track in front of the window is straight. Let's take that point. L trains screech when they go around curves, but since the track is straight, the L train would have made a low rumbling noise. And the scream is high pitched, so the old man could have heard it, and it's a tenement, so they have thin walls.
That's it. Keep going.
And I'm saying the old man could have been wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but right about who he saw. Just please remember there are no fingerprints on the knife, and it's summer, so gloves seem unlikely.
Now, I want you to listen to this man. He's got the goods.
And it would have taken a few seconds to get something out and wipe away all the fingerprints.
This is right.
Huh? What do you got to say about that?
I'm saying that we should time it. What I'm saying is that the old man was wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but right about who he saw right down the stairs. Now, I think 39 seconds is more than enough time to have completed the murder, wipe away all the fingerprints, and get down to where the old man saw him.
Yeah, let's time this one out. Well, just to see.
What are we talking about? Yes, let's be exact, please.
I thought I just explained it. Well, we're gonna recreate the murder.
We reconstructed the old man getting up, getting out of bed, going to the door. We timed that. Now we're gonna reconstruct the actual crime.
As well as we can reconstruct it, right?
I think, I do agree that they could use 30 to 40 seconds pretty easily.
You do the stand.
No, I'll do it.
Why don't you be the one to get stabbed? You're younger than I am. Don't forget it takes 1 second to fall.
He was found on his side, his right side. So when you fall, can you just fall and try to roll onto your right side? Now, if someone hates someone enough to murder them, don't you think it's reasonable enough to suppose that the murderer would look at his victim for a second or two?
Yeah, divorce yourself from this particular case, just human nature.
And this seems reasonable.
Wait a minute. He falls and ends up on his right side. Father stabbed someone, not the same as shooting. Even if it's right in the heart, he would have worked around the floor for a few seconds. Right, maybe.
That's true. There was enough oxygen in his system to ignite him for 2 or 3 seconds, I should think.
What did the father have right out?
Every kid helped his mom.
This also seems reasonable.
Also, there's another point we should try to bring out. I mean, if someone is mentally clear enough to wipe away fingerprints after murdering someone, well, don't you think it's also reasonable enough to assume they would have looked around the apartment or the room, in this case, for any other clues? I mean, it would just take a second or two, but he would have looked around, I think.
Yeah. There's something else that's been on my mind. The fingerprints. After the murder, the kid wiped off his fingerprints off the knife after the murder. What about the doorknobs? I mean, if someone came into my apartment, someone who hated me, they pulled out a handkerchief and started wiping their fingerprints off the doorknobs as they came in, that would give me an uneasy feeling.
Right.
So, the kid must have wiped the fingerprints off the doorknobs after the murder, and this too would take some time.
Alright, let's factor that in. You time the last one, so I can time this one too.
Okay, awesome.
Just start the timing. Start it.
I'll stop my foot.
Yeah, jeez.
I'm waiting for the hand to get to 60.
I'm going to kill you.
Ah!
You would have wiped both knobs.
Yeah.
Stop.
25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 29 and a half seconds exactly.
And whoever did kill the old man, I still think it was the kid, would have had to run down the hall and at least 1 flight of stairs.
See? You see?
So, the old man may have been wrong on the time, but in view of this, I think we can say he saw the boy.
So now both time sequences checked. The one you did and the one we did, what was running downstairs and everything.
Look.
It does pretty much check out on times.
Maybe the old man did lie, but he also wants the same thing we all do. Life is at stake.
So, the story of the old man may well be true.
Except for the fact that he absolutely swore under oath that it was only 15 seconds.
Yeah, and we all seem to agree that it was between 25 and 40 seconds later.
You're now admitting that the old man lied in one case and told the truth in the other. I do admit that this does tend to prove the story of the old man, but he is now in part a partial liar. This is by your own admission.
Perhaps, maybe the old man is lying at part. I'm gonna change my vote. I think he's guilty.
Whoa, baby? What are you people talking about?
I don't know. I'm just.
What do you think?
I'm not sure what I think. I want to talk some more. At first I thought guilty, then I changed. Now I'm sort of swinging back to guilty.
What about you?
And real Dutch. Real Dutch.
I think I was right the first time. I think he's guilty.
But now it really makes no sense.
The vote is about 9 to 3.
One more question about the old man downstairs. How many of you live in apartment buildings?
I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking.
What's that?
I live in a tenement, but it is close. And there's just enough light in the hall to see the steps in front of you and nothing more. The light bulbs are so small. And the murder took place in a tenement. Remember when we stumbled upon the steps?
The police brought their own floodlights and they each had a flashlight.
So an old man who misjudged time by 20 seconds. On this we all agree. This old man looked down the dark hallway and recognized a running figure.
He was 100% wrong about the time. It took twice as long as he thought.
couldn't the old man be 100% wrong about who he saw?
That's the most idiotic thing I ever heard. You're making this up out of thin air.
We're a hung jury, let's just be honest about it.
Do you truly believe that there's no room for reasonable doubt?
Yes, there is.
I beg your pardon, but maybe you don't understand the term reasonable doubt?
What do you mean I don't understand it? Who do you think you are to talk to me like that? How do you like this one? She comes running over here for her life, and before she can even take a big breath, she's trying to tell us how to run the show? The arrogance.
No one here is asking where anybody came from.
I was born right here.
Where your father came from?
Maybe it wouldn't hurt us to take a few tips from those who came running here. Maybe they learned something we don't know. We're not so perfect.
Please, I'm used to this. It's all right. Thank you.
It's not all right.
Okay. I apologize. Is that what you want?
That's what I want. All right, let's stop the arguing. Who has got something constructive to say?
There's something that's been bothering this whole time. The wound, the angle of the wound in the father's chest, the downward angle of it just doesn't make sense at all.
Tell me to start this again. They went over it and over it.
I know they did, but it doesn't sit right with me. Look, the boy is 6 inches shorter than his father. Why would he stab into the chest or down into the chest? He's shorter than him.
You're gonna be satisfied as you see. I'm gonna give you a demonstration. Somebody
Please.
else. Oh, I want you to pay attention and watch this. I'm going to do it again. Be careful. It's about 6 inches.
It's more than 6 inches.
Okay, let it be more. Look out!
Sorry.
Honey, what's the matter with you?
Oh, calm down. Oh, we got hurt, did they?
No, nobody's hurt.
That's right. You saw it. Down and in. That's how I stabbed a man taller than me, and that's how it was done.
Oh, down and in, I guess there's no argument.
Did you ever stab him?
Of course not.
Did you?
I know it's not that silly.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
Where do you get all your information about how it's done?
Oh, what do you mean? It's common sense.
Have you ever seen a man stabbed?
No.
Right. I want to ask you something. This boy was an experienced knife fighter. He was even sent to reform school for knifing someone. Isn't that so?
That's right.
All right. Well, look at this. Doesn't that seem like an awfully awkward way to handle a knife?
Hand me the knife. What's the matter with me?
You seen a knife fight?
Yes, I have.
In movies.
My friend Stoop in the vacant lot across from where I live. Switch knives came with the neighborhood where I grew up. I've seen far too many knife fights, but I just didn't think that you try to forget. Anyone who had experience with switch knives would never have done it overhand. It's just not how it's done. It's always underhand.
So he couldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
He could have made the type of move, but it's not likely, not knowing that he had experience with switch knives.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I. You're just giving us a little mumbo jumbo here.
What do you think?
I don't know.
What about you?
But we're getting nowhere fast. Let's take it to the judge.
Before we decide anything more, I'd like to try and pull this all together.
Would you like me to time this one too?
Let's hear it.
Alright, I'm an advertising. Alright, I'm used to the big shots pulling things together. Let's chip up a few shots to see if any of them land in the green.
I want you all to think about this logically and consistently.
Oh, we have. Guilty.
Well, I want to know. Does it get smart or does it get dumb?
What do you mean?
This is a kid who was sent to reform school for knife fighting. The night of the murder, he bought a knife, a switchblade. It would then take a very stupid kid to murder a man, his father, with an instrument that everyone would associate with the kid.
Well, I quite agree. The kids know.
However, if he were dumb, then why did he make the kind of wound that an experienced man would make with a knife?
I'm not sure I understand.
To murder someone takes great emotion, great hatred. And in that moment, the kid would have handled the knife as best he could, and a trained knife fighter would have handled it as he'd been trained, underhand. And an experienced man would go overhand. But the kid is being very smart. Everyone knows that he's an experienced knife fighter, so in that moment, the kid is smart enough to make the kind of wound that an amateur would make. That man is a smart man. Smart enough to wipe away the fingerprints, perhaps even smart enough to do the killing while an L train was going by in order to cover up the noise. Now, is the kid smart or is he dumb?
Now, then you just wait a minute.
Well, the woman across the L track saw the murder while the L train was passing by, so someone on that same L train could have seen the murder too.
A possibility, but no one did that we know of.
Yeah, and it would take an awfully dumb person to take that chance to commit the murder as the train's passing by.
That's right, a dumb man, a very stupid man, a man swept by emotion. Probably he heard nothing. He probably didn't even hear the L train coming, and whoever did do the murder did it as well as he could.
So,
This kid was dumb enough to do everything to associate himself with a switchblade murder. But then a moment after the murder, he becomes very smart. He's smart enough to make the kind of wound that would lead us all to suspect somebody else. But in the same instance, he's dumb enough to do the killing while an L train is going by. But then a moment later, he becomes smart enough to wipe away the fingerprints. To say this kid is guilty, you'd have to say that he's dumb from 8 o'clock to about midnight, and then from midnight he's smart for a second, and then dumb for a few seconds, and then again he becomes smart. And then once again he becomes stupid. So stupid that he can't even think of a good alibi. To say this kid is guilty, you'd have to toss his intelligence like a pancake. There's out, out, out.
I hadn't thought of that.
And the old man downstairs, on the stand, he swore it was 15 seconds. He insisted on 15 seconds, but we can all agree that it was almost 40 seconds.
Yeah, so does the old man lie half of the time, then turn around and tell the truth the other half of the time?
To say this kid is guilty, you'd have to say that he's stupid, and then smart, and then stupid, and then smart, and so on. And also to say this kid is guilty, you'd have to say that the old man lies half the time, and the other half of the time he tells the truth. You can reasonably doubt.
I'm sold on reasonable doubt.
I think I am too.
I wanted more talking, and now I've had it.
I want another vote.
Okay, another vote's been called for. I guess the quickest way is a show of hands. All those in not guilty, raise your hand. 9. Okay. Guilty? The vote is 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I do not understand you people. How can you believe this kid is innocent? All they do is lie. I don't have to tell you that they don't know what the truth is. Let me just tell you, they don't need any real reason to kill someone either. They just get drunk and boom, someone just lying in the gutter. I mean, it's not their fault. You don't have to blame them. It's just who they are. You know what I mean. Just violent. Human life don't mean as much to them as it does to us. Where are you going? All they do is drink and fight all the time, and if somebody gets killed, then somebody gets killed. Sure, there's some good things about them, and I know a few who are pretty decent, but that is the exception. And what is going on here? I'm speaking my mind, and you damn well listen to me. This kid on trial, you do not know what to expect from them. You do not know what to take from them. All they do is spin in a circle and do the same stuff over and over. I'm just trying to tell you something here.
I've had enough. If you open your mouth again, I'm gonna split your skull.
I'm only trying to tell.
All right, sit down, everybody. I still believe the boy is guilty of murder, and I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning piece of evidence is the testimony of the woman who lives across the street that actually saw the killing.
That's the most important thing,
Let's
as
go
far as I'm
over it.
concerned.
What exactly did she say?
I believe I can recount it accurately. She says she went to bed around 11 o'clock that night. Her bed was next to the window. She says that while lying down in the bed, she could look through the window, across the L, and into the window across the street. She tossed and turned for over an hour, unable to fall asleep, until at about 12:10, as she turned to look towards the window, she saw the boy stab his father. To me, that's unshakable testimony.
That's what I mean. That's the whole case.
In view of this, I don't see how any of you can go over an acquittal. What do you think?
Maybe there's so much evidence to
What
say.
do you mean, maybe? He's absolutely right. You can throw out all the other evidence.
That was my feeling. I don't deny the validity of any of the points that you've made today, but shall we say on one side of the tracks there is doubt? Just think about the woman's testimony. She saw it.
Does anyone know what time it is?
10 minutes of 6.
You don't suppose they'd let us go home and finish it in the morning? My kid has COVID.
There's no chance. Can't you see the clock without your glasses?
Not very clearly.
Glasses are a nuisance, aren't they?
What do you do when you wake up at night and you want to know what time it is?
I put my glasses on and I look at the clock.
I just lie in bed and wait for the clock to chime. My father got it from me when we married, my wife and I. It was a few years before we had a place to put it.
The woman, well, do you wear your glasses to bed?
Of course not. No one wears their glasses to bed.
The woman who testified on trial that she saw the murder, she wore glasses. What about her?
Did she wear glasses?
Of course. She wore bifocals. I remember clearly. And they looked quite strong.
That's right. Bifocals. She never took them off.
Funny, I never thought of that.
I think it's logical to say that she was not wearing her glasses to bed, and I don't think she put them on to glance casually out the window. She testified that she saw the murder the instant she looked out, and that the lights went out a split second later. She couldn't have had time to put them on then. Now, perhaps she honestly thought that she saw the boy kill his father. I say she only saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Huh? Maybe she was farsighted. How does she know all these things?
Is there anyone here who still does not think that there's a reasonable doubt?
You never really convinced me that there's a doubt. Because I know!
I've always wondered but there is a reasonable doubt.
Anyone else?
No. I'm convinced. There's a reasonable doubt.
The vote is 11-1.
You're alone.
I don't care what I'm doing. I have a right to
Yes,
say it.
you have a right.
Well, I told you. I think the kid's guilty. What else do you want?
Your arguments.
I gave you my arguments.
We're not convinced. We're waiting to hear them again. We have time.
You're not going to intimidate me. I have a right to my opinion. This is going to be on jury. That's it.
Well, there's nothing we can do about that except hope that maybe someday, maybe in a few months, like, we might get some sleep.
You are all alone. It takes a great deal of courage to stand all alone.
I don't think I'm wrong, but I guess I was this once. There is a reasonable doubt, and it's on jury looking at a trial. And we're gonna bring up the points that we made in new wires.
All right!
meeting.
Not guilty.
I saw you guys, I got it. I was like, could you get me some water?